What's up, everybody? Today I'm going to show you how to turn this into this. Ta-da! All by yourself. All you got to do is buy this. Here's the part number, LR052905. And this I'm using for the key for my 2010 Range Rover Sport Supercharged. But I imagine they have these keys for a lot of the Land Rover models that were 2010 to 2013. Or maybe 2010 and 2011, and that's it. Anyways, this is what they look like when you pull them out of the box. They're perfectly wrapped, they're really, really nice. And it's very tricky to get these together and to put it all together and do it so it all works, because you actually have to take the guts out for the spring mechanism and the key and everything and do all that. So to start with, we'll get everything out of the way, and you have to, the biggest thing is you have to keep the good one as a reference. So make sure you're always referring to the second key so that you know what to do with the first one, so that you don't lose any parts, and you don't screw anything up. So always have that as a reference next to you when you're doing this. So the first thing you want to do is we'll take out the battery. So we'll start with battery. So battery right here. Oh, it's out. I took it out already. Okay, so battery goes in there. You just pull the little black thing out, and then, oh, never mind. Found it! Anyways, it took me a while to find it. So let's start in order here. Put all that there. Okay, so like I said, first thing you have to do, take the battery out. Okay, so it's in like that. That's how it looks when you open it up. Okay, you just pull this black thing out. Like that. And there you go. Okay, so now it's out. Just put that aside, set it to the side. And then you want to take this old key ring, that's when I bought the car, and then you want to open the rest of it up. So you open the rest of it up here, pull the key out, open it, and then the next thing you want to look for is this little thing right here. Now if you go and you look at the point of reference that you want to look for is the rubber gasket. Now you see over here on the battery, it has a rubber gasket, okay? And the rubber gasket on the key fob is right down here. It's really, really dirty. I don't know if you can see it, but it's right there. So that's your point of reference, all right? So that's where you want to split it open, but you want to do it in a very careful way. You don't actually want to put the screwdriver underneath the rubber gasket or over top of the rubber gasket and try and wedge it in there. Okay, because what you're going to do is you're going to destroy that gasket. It's a silicone rubber gasket, and it's very, very delicate. So you don't want to touch that at all. Where you want to go is right here. Okay, so rubber gasket down there. Follow it all the way to the bottom of this. Oh no, not this one. Not this one. The other side. Sorry. So let's do a point of referencing again. Rubber gasket there, follow it over to the solid side here. This is where you want to wedge it in. You do not want to do it into the spring mechanism because you'll destroy it completely. Okay, this is a spring mechanism that allows you to pull the key out and also open the door for the battery thing. Okay, so let's do it again. Follow the rubber gasket all the way around, and you want to do it on this side, not this side, this side. Okay. So, because this is already destroyed and you're going to replace it, it's going to be all pretty, who cares what you break right now? So you just stick it in there. Be very careful. And be very careful not to scratch the nice dining room table that we paid for a lot. So, find an angle. Get it in there, wedge it, split it open till you hear a crack, and from there, slowly work more of it, or you get in there with your fingers and try and take it apart. Now I gotta warn you, this is going to fly all over the place. It happened to me with this one, and it turned out okay. So just be careful. You're gonna hear a lot. It might fly apart, it might not. Right now I'm just working it as much as I can. Alright, so it's slowly coming apart. There we go. Okay, so it didn't fall apart as much as I thought it would, okay? So that's a good thing. Now, one thing you'll notice is that this little clip flew out, okay? This little clip attaches to the door right here, okay? And we can just slide that into the next unit, so that's not a big deal. Actually, might as well do that right now. So where's the battery thing? The battery door. Here's the thing for the clip. So you just put it in there, bang, or bang. That's how it goes. That's how it goes. You're all set for that side. Okay, now, so for this, the hinge right here, it just pops right out. Not a big deal, okay? So maybe put that in there, nice and orderly, so you know where it's going, what's happening. Okay, the rubber gasket, pull that out. And this I would highly recommend that you wash it. I'm just going to get in there with my nails. That you wash it, give it a good wash with some dish soap. Okay, don't use Dove or body wash or anything like that, because that contains oils and that's not getting the grease out. Okay, so just use dish soap and then clean it, and then you can put it back in. Okay, so we'll put that aside. Yeah, it goes like that. There's the thing. Okay, so that goes on this side. So we know that that goes on this side right here. So right there. So I'm just going to put that there for now so that I know where it goes. We're going to concentrate on this. The guts of the whole thing, actually, last time it flew off and it fell out. And this actually still works. If you put the battery in there and you go in there and you press the buttons, everything will work on your car. Okay, so we'll set that aside. Alright, so we're not messing around with that. Now this is a tricky part. Okay, so we can get the hinge out. That's not too bad. You just have to work it a little bit here. There you go. Okay, just be really delicate and be real careful and take your time. Don't force anything. If you have to force anything, you have to really wrench on anything with the exception of splitting the case open, then you're going to break something that you really don't want to break, and then you have to go and buy a brand new key fob and you're screwed. Okay, so now we've got that. We'll set that aside. All right, and look how dirty that got. So we're going to pull the spring out. This is a spring for one of the little door thingies. I'm not very technical when I talk about this stuff. It's a spring thingy for a door thingy. We'll leave it at that. The next thing is the spring mechanism. This is what allows you to open and close the door thingies. Okay, so the spring mechanism right there. This is a really, really tough thing to get out. The one way that I was looking at it was over here. This is where it hinges. Okay, so you can take the screwdriver and very gently, sorry I knocked the camera, very gently just go like that. Okay, you can pull it out. Okay, very delicately, very gently. Just be sure the last thing you want to do is break anything. Okay, so carefully like that. And now you've got this. And now you've got to get this hinge out. Okay, so you could do it by wedging, or maybe just jam everything back in there. You notice already part of it's broken, but that's the part where you split the case apart. That's not a big deal. So part of it's broken. You want to very, very gently just pop it out. Okay, now there is a metal spring in there. I don't know if you guys can see that. That metal spring, you can get that out even better. All right, so you don't have to worry about that. There's that metal spring. And then we'll just set that aside. Okay, so now we've just got this to deal with. This is the sticking point. This is where it's sticking right here. This little hinge part. You've got to open that up and get it out. And when I did it, I really wasn't sure what I was doing. So I just worked the screwdriver in there and as carefully as I could pulled it out. There we go, and it's out. And that's all you want, really. Okay, so if you'll notice, this is the hinge part right there. Yep, this is the hinge part right there. And you have to, the pin is right there, so you have to be really careful with it all. So now that you've got all the internals and all the guts out, what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean what I need to clean, and then I'll be right back. Alright, we're back. So let me just adjust this camera, move it a little bit over. Alright, so I just washed the rubber gasket, used dish soap. For those who are interested, I used, I think it was Dawn dish soap, the orange kind with the orange color. I don't know, my wife buys it. Alright, and then I washed this. It was actually pretty dirty, so the first time I ever did this, I didn't wash it, but the second time around, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna wash it. Okay, so the next thing we got to do is we're going to start with the simple stuff. Okay, so put this tab back on. Figure this whole thing out. Goes like that, goes like that. Right. Okay, so we know the spring mechanism is up here. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to have to do this. We're going to have to reinsert the spring mechanism. Let's do it in steps, logical steps first. So here's the metal spring. It goes on this little guide pin, alright, and then the rest of it fits in here. Okay, so remember the hinge point, this little hinge point right there? Okay, it's right there. That is reinserted here, and make sure that the spring fits into the little hole that's made for it. So it goes in there, and then you just have to kind of wiggle it in, press it back in almost the same way that you took it out. That takes a little bit of pressure, just be real careful. And whatever you do, don't lose this little spring, because that will haunt you also. Okay, so spring. in like that. Then we have to, looks like that goes there like that. So it's like this, I guess. Okay, so I was putting it in the wrong way. This is what happens when if you get confused and you get frustrated and you're trying to force things together. Don't force it together. Just be real careful. Try and figure stuff out before you actually do any forceful pushing or anything like that. So I'm pretty sure it's supposed to go in like that now. Yeah, everything seems to fit together. Now it's just a matter of pressing it in. It's really delicately. You're going to hear a click, maybe one or two, and now it's back in and it's secure. So now it works. Thank God. Okay, so the spring mechanism is back in. We've got the little metal tab here, and then we've got the retainer thing, spring, whatever it is. Now we're going to put the guts back in. So this is the PCB board with whatever that is. I'm going to put that back on. Make sure it's oriented right. Okay, so you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 buttons. 5 buttons there. Make sure it fits in there the right way. Okay, so that's the way it's supposed to go. And you really can't screw this up, and I'll show you why. Because of this little cutaway here. It's right there, so you're not going to mess this up. Even if you tried to mess it up, you wouldn't be able to. So a lot of good news there. Land Rover thought that out quite well. I'll put the retainer clip in again in there. Now it's called the retainer clip. I have dubbed it the retainer clip. And then you put this in there. So now you know that the hinge goes there. The next thing we're going to do is the key part here. This shouldn't be too bad. This shouldn't be, like, it shouldn't be rocket science here. So for this, yeah, it just goes in like this, and then what happens is when you want to push it in, okay, and then this goes like that. Oh, wait. Nope, probably goes like this. Yeah, I'm thinking it goes like this. So you have to slide this in like that, exactly the same way I pulled it out yet. So you put this in. Okay, so clip goes in like this. This hinge part, because it's lower, you'll notice it's not in the center. It's right here at the bottom. You put it in like this, and then you kind of work it in so that you can get it flat like that. Alright, and then on here, on the other side, you have to make sure that it fits with this guide pin right there. Okay, so there you go. And then it's in like that. You are 90% there. Okay, so look at that. Isn't that beautiful? And then all you have to do now is just clip it all into place. So following the little indentation on the PCB board and the rest of the thing, you want to make sure that you put this on. Now before you do that though, you want to, I'll use the other part as reference here. You want to put the gasket back on. Don't forget that gasket, because that's what will waterproof the PCB board. Okay? So, brand new part here. Gasket goes back on. Orientate it properly. You should not be stretching it or overstressing it. Okay, it should just slide back in. Make sure you seat it well so you're not using the pressure of the case to seat it. You want to make sure that you've done all that, because you want to put the least amount of stress on this little gasket as possible. Alright? Make sure it's oriented properly, and then you put it all back together. Alright? Now before you press and you're actually using force, Make sure you've got everything done properly. Okay? Now that you feel that all the guide pins are in line, everything's in line, it should look like this, and now you can press it together, okay? And you'll hear some snaps. There you go. Snapped. It's in, it's done, and it should work. So let's try it out. Look at that. Aha. Okay. The key should work. Should be able to pull the key out. Okay. Key's not coming out. Alright, let's try this again here. Key should slide out. Okay. There we go. All right, so let's get the battery in there. We'll worry about the key later. We hardly use it anyways. All right, so the battery goes in there, gasket goes in there, everything goes back together. Try the key one more time. I don't know why it's not working. It should work because it works on the other one. So why it doesn't work on this one, no clue. Maybe it's a matter of okay. I think the key is just stuck in there. Okay, so there. Okay, it's coming out and it pops out like that. That's one of the reasons why this delaminates. Okay, it delaminates because this key just flies right out and it slowly peels away at that. And then because there's air that gets in there, it goes all the way around and works its way around. Eventually, this ages out and it also happens on the other side. So the key can come out, you can take it out, pop the key back in. There we go. Pop this back in. Let's go try it out. Alright, I'll take the camera off here. And we're gonna go to the car. Alright, turn on the light, I guess. Alright. Lock. Unlock. Open the windows. Sweet, it works. Awesome. Okay. So guys, that's my video on how to change the cases, the old casing for your key fobs on your 2010 Range Rover Sport or any other Land Rover model that has these keys with them. They're really nice keys. I really love them, and I'm glad I could get them to look brand new. So hope you enjoyed the video. If you like it, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. And any comments you want to make are more than welcome.